Hey guys, so I have a brand new college talk for you guys today, and I know this is right about the time when a lot of you are starting college for the very first time this month and next month, so I figured this would be the perfect time to cover this particular topic. So this is going to be about your first week of college, rather my first week, and what to expect during yours. And before I get started in actually talking about this, I'm going to do the same disclaimer with a little bit of additional information here.
As I say with all my college talk videos, you cannot expect your experience to be just like mine. I'm talking about, from my personal experiences again, and just things that I've come to learn from college and things like that. So, yours is obviously going to be a little bit different depending on what school you go to and how old you are and everything like that. But hopefully you guys can get some insight from these.
This video in particular, I want to address the fact that I'm coming from the perspective of someone who went straight out of high school into college. I went to a four-year public UC, and it was a big campus. Just keep that in mind. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to be talking about three general topics, or categories, I guess you could say, when it comes to your first week. I am going to also be lumping in 0 week and the first week sort of together, because at least at my school, if I remember correctly, we started classes on a Thursday. So technically we only had like 2 days of classes that first week. They call it 0 weeks. So I'm going to kind of lump the two together. Just keep that in mind when I'm addressing these things. Okay, so the first category I'm going to talk about is classes. So what to expect, how to prepare, and things like that. So first of all, before you even get to that first day of classes, make sure you check your student emails. You're going to be getting emails most likely from your professors, whether they're sending you the syllabus early, whether they are asking you to have pre-prepared something for class. Now keep in mind, as a freshman, these professors know that this is the very beginning for you guys. It's all exciting. You are picking your dorm stuff and all that kind of thing. They know that college is brand new. They need to kind of be very aware of that. So at least in my experience, I didn't have any professors who expected us to have a lot of stuff done before we actually got there. However, there are some professors who kind of don't think that they should ease you into college. They might think that, right off the bat, you need to know exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be expected the rest of your college career and stuff like that. So if they do have required reading or require, fill out some sort of form, because some people you do need to sign papers for them, whatever. So just make sure you have all of that done ahead of time or for whenever you need it. Textbooks. So most professors, unless they specifically email you saying you're going to need it the first day of class, you most likely will not need it until that second week. Again, especially when you're an incoming freshman, there's a lot of different places where you can get textbooks. As you get later on in your college career, you'll know that textbooks, you don't necessarily need them right away, and there are cheaper ways to get them than buying them brand new from the bookstore. You can check Amazon. There's Chegg, which is a rental site. Slug Books, I'm sure you guys have all seen promoted videos about them as well. So there are just a lot of different options as far as textbooks go. So you most likely won't need them right away, but it's always good to at least order them and have them arrive fairly soon. Now there's the good old debate, laptop versus notebook, and now for that first day you're going to be like, oh my god, which one do I take? Do I need both? I actually recommend taking both. Not that you'll necessarily need them, but I would just say the laptop is great, but make sure you have paper, because they might want you to write something down for them. I know in several classes they ask you to write your name, one thing you want to learn, one thing, something else, like something, a fun fact, like your favorite color, something like that. Random fun facts. For some reason, professors sometimes like to ask you for that. I don't know. So just always have paper. You never know when you're going to need it, whether the professor gets mad and gives you a pop quiz. You might just always have a paper and pencil on hand. You don't want to be that one person who has to ask for paper, so just be prepared. So what to expect from your actual first lectures, you're not going to have all of your classes on that first day most likely. It depends on how you scheduled yourself, but most likely you'll have maybe 2 classes a day, maybe one in the morning and one later. Maybe you push them all into the afternoon, so it's really going to depend. It's going to be really weird going into classes later on than you're used to in high school. So that's a bit of an adjustment. You'll notice that professors, although some of them may be a little bit intimidating, some of them are also very laid back and very friendly and very welcoming. So it's going to depend on what kind of professors you have, but you know, they're going to give you the whole spiel. They're going to tell you about themselves and how long they've been teaching and all of that. They're going to talk about the course, which you're going to cover. Most likely they'll go over the syllabus if they most likely emailed them. That's what they do, kind of, rather than handing out paper copies at this point. Some of them will just go over the syllabus the first day and let you guys go early, or some of them may cover material like a little bit and still let you out early. Most likely the classes will not be as high intensity as they will be later on. So that's pretty much it as far as classes go. Again, it's really nothing to be worried about that first week, you know, because there are a lot of schedule changes that are still going on at that point. So, you know, nothing's really set in stone yet, and a lot of people are going in and out of enrolling in these certain classes and stuff. So that first week is pretty relaxed. Alright, moving on to social aspects. This is definitely going to cover 0 week and the first week kind of lumped together, because there are a lot of things that go on before your first day of classes. So, you know, you're moving, I'm assuming that you guys are going to be moving into dorms on campus. This is what I did. So, you know, you move into your dorm, you're living in an entirely different situation. I had orientation actually like the week before classes, or week before 0 week, so it was like I'd moved in. I was the first one to move in. I've already talked about this. I have a whole video on dorming and that first like roommate sort of situation. That was my very first college talk. If you haven't seen that one before, that was I have a lot to say about that. It's an interesting experience. But during that 0 week, they're gonna have like a campus dance, most likely some sort of all campus. Everybody can come. It's just to socialize, to meet new people. If you like dances, you know, go for it. It wasn't the best experience for me, but you know, if you're someone who really likes that, it's a good time to bond with your dorm, whether it's your roommate, whether it's your entire like dorm floor, your flat, whatever you want to call it. It's a huge just social experience. Now, during that first week as well, there are going to be a lot of clubs who are going to be just throwing flyers at everybody. You're going to just end up with a ton of crap that you don't want, but actually look at some of it, you know, make sure, you know, especially if you're interested in that kind of thing. Maybe you want to put that off until like the next quarter or the next semester, but in case you're interested, just make sure you keep the ones that, you know, maybe you want to go see what a meeting with them is like and stuff like that. Also, fraternities and sororities are going to be doing their thing, again, handing out flyers and trying to coax you to their booths and talk to you about that sort of thing if that's what you want to do, to rush week and all that stuff. I want to say like 90% of my dorm mates rushed, and I think maybe only one of them ended up actually joining a sorority. So, but it's a good, again, social experience if you want to like meet a bunch of fellow women who are interested in that sort of thing. Then that's a great opportunity to do so. Another social thing that happens during 0 week and first week are dorm events. So we had just this giant, we had what, four floors and two sides to the building. So there were a lot of people in our building. So we had 2 RAs for our giant building, and they're gonna plan social things for you guys to get to know them, to get to know each other. So just make sure that, you know, you go to all the mandatory things at least, because there are definitely gonna be meetings where they're gonna address rules, talk about how you can contact them and what their schedules are like, that sort of thing. It's very important to know who your RAs are and to at least have a couple conversations with them in case later on in the year you're going to need to talk to them about something. Or another sort of social thing would be dorm events. So your RAs are most likely to put together a few things, especially during that 0 and first week window. Need someone to go to, just something like that. That's what your RAs are there for. So it's really important to at least know who they are. They're not likely to be study breaks yet, but they're the similar sort of ideas as study breaks, where, you know, you just get together. It'll be a certain day and time where they'll have you like bake cookies together or watch a movie or something like that in the common area of your dorm, wherever that may be. So just make sure that you are aware of who your RAs are. If you need to feel comfortable talking to them in case anything happens, in case you need to go talk to someone you don't know who or where to go, your RA is your best bet. And lastly, there are parties, of course. You know, walking around campus during that first week, you get a lot of mainly frats handing out flyers, just like, hey, we're having a party on Saturday, you know, come stop by, whatever. It's just, as a female freshman, just be very, very careful. You know, you're fresh meat essentially to a lot of guys, not to all of them, but you know, to a lot of them. It's college, you know, you have to expect that sort of mentality from some people at least. So just be very careful. Make sure you don't go alone, and there's that. You know, if you want to do that, do your thing. Alright, the last thing that I wanted to cover in this was the sort of general personal area and how I really felt during this first week. You know, I'd never been away from home for a very long time. I mean, I'd gone to friends' houses and I'd gone away to camps and stuff like that, but, you know, living away from home is different. It's very, very different if, you know, you just never experienced anything like that before. So here's what happened. When I moved into my dorm, I actually didn't stay overnight there because I can't remember if we like forgot stuff or something, but since I was so early for orientation anyway, I had the opportunity or the ability to leave, like go home again and then come back, which was, my dad was probably mad because that's a really long drive. I digress. But I didn't even stay in my dorm room technically that first day that I came to move in. So when I was back, that first time when my parents left, it was like the weirdest feeling, you know? Like, it became real very quickly. I talked about how, you know, I was very indifferent about college, neutral even, you know, I wasn't excited about it, I wasn't like scared of it, I just didn't really feel a whole lot about college. So, you know, the fact that once they left and I was like all alone, like shit got real, you know? This is real. Like, this is where I'm gonna be. My parents are going home. I'm living in this place like for my whole year. So it was just, I don't want to say a rude awakening, but just it hit me like all at once. It was just very like panic almost sort of sets in, just like this like sinking sort of feeling where I was just like, oh no. But it's something that kind of went away really quickly too, because, you know, once my roommate moved in, I was fine. You know, I got used to it and adjusted very quickly. Now, homesickness may hit you immediately, it may hit you later on, it may hit you never. I mean, I don't know how you feel about your home. It's just something I think that everybody experiences every once in a while. So, you know, just be aware that it's totally normal whenever it happens, or even if it doesn't. You know, people are different, but just, you know, it's okay if you ever feel like you need to talk to someone again. Your RAs are a very good option for that. Or even just if you feel comfortable talking to your roommate or other dorm mates who you become friends with, stuff like that. Because they're all going through the exact same things that you are as far as, you know, this whole new college experience. So, you know, lean on the people around you. With the great inventions of FaceTime and Skype nowadays, I mean, you can totally just call your parents and or your siblings or friends or whoever and just talk to them too, but there are other options as well. And lastly, the one thing that I did want to address as far as personal things and how I was feeling is that people don't realize that when you're in college and you're living on campus, you know, most people don't have cars to drive somewhere else, like to the beach or to the mall or anywhere, or even like just a grocery store. You're kind of secluded in this place and you have to get used to just kind of navigating this one thing, like almost like always, and you don't realize how much free time you have when you don't have to be at school for like 8 hours a day, and maybe you don't have, like, I had dance practice and I had night rehearsals and I just had a lot of stuff when I was in high school, and once you get to college, you know, you go to class for maybe 2-3 hours a day, and then you're like, well, what else do I do? So just be aware that you're gonna have a lot of free time, which is why YouTube was a thing for me at that point and through all of college. You realize you have a lot of time to do whatever you really want to do. So, you know, that'll be a thing. It'll be kind of weird probably for a while there, but then you'll start to get busy with other things. So, yeah. Alright, so I hope you guys found this helpful. My first week was fine, you know, feelings, no feelings, it was totally great, it worked out well, and honestly, college as a whole, guys, I know a lot of you are just freaking out. Like, don't worry, you'll get through it. You know, you might hit some rocky patches along the way, but you'll be fine. So if you have any additional questions about first week that I forgot to hit or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But until next time, I will see you. Well, no I won't. What? Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.